Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It has been requested that I do a disassembly video of the ATA-Venza, and so this gun's really easy to break down, so I'll get into that and we'll just go through it, and I'm not actually going to clean it, but I will show you what I use to clean it, and I'll kind of show you, the high points of, where you need to lubricate with this gun. So first off, if you haven't seen my review on this gun, it's just a fantastic shotgun for the money. It's not anything high end, but it gets the job done, and I've never had it fail to cycle any kind of rounds from the lightest to heaviest loads. So we'll jump right into it here. The first thing we want to do is hit our bolt lock. We'll lock that back like so. Okay. After we do that, we are going to remove our end cap. Just set that to the side. The fore end will slide off like so. Also set that to the side. So you'll notice there's no large spring in here, and that's because this gun is gas powered. And I actually wouldn't even need to clean this because it's actually really clean right now. And so I know with a lot of shotguns, the bolt can stay forward when you remove the barrel. That's not the case with this one. And so that's why we locked it into the rear position, okay? And so when we take it off, we'll just slide it off like so, and it just comes apart. Super easy, just like that. Okay, so we'll set our stock and action to the side, and we'll kind of go through the barrel. So typically, cleaning the barrel is super easy. On the inside, I'm just going to use a bore snake. So my choice is the 12 gauge bore snake from, I guess Hops makes it, and it's called the Viper. I use these on pretty much all of my gun barrels, typically one pass, and it's completely clean. So highly, highly recommend these if you don't already have one. All right, so there's only a couple pieces we need to worry about in here. The first one removes, and it's just a small metal bushing, okay? And so this is important to keep clean. You can see it does acquire quite a bit of carbon because of its position. It's getting a lot of the gas that is coming, when you are discharging a round. And so it just slides right back into that hole right there. And I usually take this off and I use something else to clean it. I use this Hops Black high performance gun cleaner. Really good stuff. It removes just so much carbon that's hard to get off. And I'm one of those guys who cleans this gun, the first time he takes it, right after to get, shooting, I will clean it. And so, you know, I don't really have to deal with too much hard carbon, but you can see, I mean, the carbon's just stuck on here. And if I were to spray this on there right now, I could probably get most of that off. Whereas if I just went at it with a rag, I'd be there for some time. So Hops Black, um, it's the step one high performance gun cleaner. It's really good stuff. All right, so we will also set that to the side. And there's something else to note. That's the only piece that actively just slides out. But you do have a spring in here, and you can see, through that tiny hole that there is a spring in there. And what that does is that acts as the larger spring on an inertia system, except this is the gas, so the gas system. So that spring does come out, and I've heard from the guys who use these, for salt water waterfowling and things like that, that the original spring in this gun can rust. And so I haven't had anything like that because I usually use this just for upland and in pretty dry conditions because it's wood grain. But you can remove that with a pair of snap ring pliers. I'm trying to give you a good view. So just like you would remove the plug out of a shotgun with snap ring pliers, the same concept applies to that if you wanted to take out and lubricate that spring or replace it with a different one. So we'll just kind of set this to the side. First, we'll, reinstall our little bushing there, and then we'll set it to the side. All right, so now we've got our stock in action, and so, I'm gonna usually wipe down, all this metal, because that can definitely acquire some carbon. Right now it's pretty lubricated, so I don't need to do that. But if you wanted to remove the bolt on this gun, which I'll do it real quick. Hold on. See if I can get it out. There it is. All right. So all you're going to do is pull pretty much like any shotgun. and then your bolt will freely move. And so we'll set that to the side carefully, and we should be able to take the bolt out. Maybe we can, maybe not though. So what is going on? All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, so one thing I forgot about on this gun is that it's a lot easier to remove the bolt if you take out the trigger group. So I'm not exactly certain if you can remove the bolt without removing the trigger group, because that's the only way I've done it, but I have tried the other way, and it seems tough. So I don't know if that's exactly what ATA intended, but certainly I have not been able to remove the bolt in this gun without removing the trigger group, and I think that is a flaw. If that is the case, just because every other shotgun I have, from Browning to Benelli to Beretta, you are able to remove this bolt without removing the trigger group. So, in order to remove the trigger group, this is actually very simple. You have one pin right there and one on the back, and that's the same pin. I'm just showing you both sides. It's just one pin that holds it in. Hey, that rhymed. And I take a pair of very thin needle nose, and I just put it right on the head of that pin. Doesn't take hardly any pressure at all. Pop it off, and then you can see it's come out the other side. You remove that pin and set it to the side. So, and then after you remove that pin, you are going to want to compress the bolt release. Slide it a little bit forward, and it'll come off like that, like so. So it's always a good idea to clean your trigger group sometimes, but I have not used this gun enough to really warrant that, and so I'm just going to set it off to the side. Then we can remove our charging handle. Maybe these things are a bear sometimes. Let's see if I can get it with my shirt real quick. There it is. All right, so that gets set off to the side. We can then remove our bolt, and I'm going to show you. I've honestly never seen one like this. So the first time I cleaned this gun, it took me a long time because I like to take stuff apart and do it, my way. And essentially, figuring it out was not easy. So you've got this piece which fits onto the bolt, and I'll set that to the side. And then you've got your bolt itself, and we're going to set the action to the side. So the bolt is actually two pieces on this gun, which I'm also not a fan of. So this is the piece right here. If you can see, that makes it hard to get out of the gun, okay? That piece will pop up and stop the bolt from going back in, and that's why it's so much easier, and same thing with coming out. It's so much easier to take the bolt group out when you are installing or removing this bolt, okay? So I'll usually lubricate a little bit in there. As you can see, we've got a spring, so it's nice to do some light lubrication. Obviously, firing pin in the back right there, and then we've got our lower piece, which is, it's always good to lube that as well. So any metal that you have sliding past each other, it's always going to be good to incorporate some kind of lubrication. All right, one thing to note is, if you can tell, when you're reinstalling this bolt, as the bottom slides, let's see if we can get a good view of that. When the bottom slides forward, that piece comes up. So when you're reinstalling this bolt, this has to be fully back in order for that bolt to slide in. And again, I've never seen it before, so I do not know what the purpose of that is. I apologize for my ignorance. If you know what that does, please leave it in the comments. Okay, so reassembly is going to be the opposite, and we'll go ahead and do that now. All right, so essentially, we are going to take this piece right here, and we are going to fit it to the bolt, and it joins just like that, okay? Just like that. That's how they fit together, okay? All right, and then we're gonna gently hold that, making sure that we push it back, because if we pull it forward, watch what happens. The piece comes up, right? All right, so we're gonna make sure we have this fully compressed to the rear, and I am struggling. All right, fully compressed to the rear. Make sure we have it on the rails. And here we go. All right. So as you can tell, I just fell off the bottom. All right. We're also gonna line that up with our little hole in there, just like a Benelli. And you can see we now have a functioning bolt. At this point, we're gonna reinstall our trigger group. So again, we're gonna hold our bolt release while we do this. Holding the bolt release, insert, and make sure she clicks back into place there. There it is. So you want to make sure that that is flush with the wood stock. That's how you know it's lined up, as well as visualizing with the hole. And then you always want to make sure you install your pin properly, because it's actually slightly different on one side than the other. You're not going to be able to tell in camera, but one side is thicker. Okay, so we're going to install it from the same side. Okay, goes in. You can actually do that by finger. I promise I'm not super strong. Okay, so that is all in. We're gonna reinstall charging handle. Pops in like so. Okay, now have a functioning bolt. All right, and then at this point, barrel goes on. Make sure that bushing is reinserted. Okay, like so. And you are on the home stretch now. You are going to slide on your fore end and reinstall reinstall the cap. All right. So after that, quick little function test. Okay, slam shut. Quick little function test. Always want to test it. Safety, trigger, good. All right, so that is the cleaning on the ATA-Venza. Quick little recap. I like to use Hops 9 high performance gun cleaner. Really great for getting carbon off. Lucas gun oil. I actually snapped the tip off this one, but that's why I like them. You know, because of the applicator. It's got a needle applicator, and makes it really easy to use and get in those tight spots. And for the barrel, Viper Bore Snake by Hops. It's good stuff. All right, well, I do video requests. This one was requested by one of my subscribers. Wanted to see the breakdown on an ATA-Venza. Hopefully that wasn't too painful to watch. I really have to learn how to cut down on the length of these videos. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any tips or tricks on that, yeah, let me know. And if you have any videos you want to see me do, let me know. I'm happy to do it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.